Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Previously, we have discussed how to send email in Outlook via Excel by creating a macro. So in this video, we are going to see how to download any attachments in the file email in a particular folder or between the timeline to our local system. Let's start with the today's video. So to save attachments from our Outlook to the local disk, we need certain steps to be followed. The very first information is the folders from where we are going to get the attachments. Either it be a subfolder also, or it will be like inbox or draft sent items. The second one which we need is nothing but our the time. Suppose we want to do it for a week or month or date. So that particular date and time you need. So I'm going to give you the date as a second priority. Third one will be our path. So where you are going to save the file, which is our folder, which folder you are going to save it in our local system. So these are all the key important points where we need to concentrate before starting our code to save the file. Let's start with a practical example. Understand? So I'm going to give it as the necessary steps as a header and its value in the second column. So the first one will be my folder. So from which folder I need to take the value. So from folder. The second one is my subfolder. It will be an optional. If required, we can give. Third one will be my date, which is my start date, and fourth one will be my end date. And the last but not the least is our folder path in our local system where we need to save the data file. So now I'm going to give the value for each and everything. Let's open our Outlook. So here I'm going to save the attachment from this sample folder alone. From folder is my inbox, subfolder is my sample. As we are going with a folder, we not required any date or time. So I'm going to mark these are all the optional value. I'm going to give it as a start point. The last is my very important thing is folder path where I'm going to save the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my file directly into. I'm just creating this fresh folder in my desktop. So I'm just copying this particular length, putting it over here. So my complete details, whichever is required, is pasted over here. So this is the very first step which we are going to do in saving the attachment. Now we are going to the very important step, which is our writing our code. Insert a module. My subroutine name is save attachments. To save the attachments, what are the things we need? I have to enable Microsoft Outlook. You can see Microsoft 16.0 Outlook library. Just select that particular reference file as of now, and later on we can go with the other ones. I'm going to declare each and every variable whichever is required for our automation. So first declare our Outlook as Outlook.application because this will help you to create a new application. The second one will be my namespace. So why this namespace is required is because this will be my Outlook namespace where my Outlook, what is the name of my Outlook is saved. Third one will be our folder in Outlook. So we have created whatever the things whichever is required for integrating it with our Outlook, right? Now I'm going to add a variable where it should check my object is available or not, which is I'm just declaring it as IS object, which will be used in future to check how much ever my object is available. The next will be our mail item because our mail item only the place where our object is going to iterate, right? So I'm just putting mi as my variable where it will say outlook.mail item. Now, whichever the thing which is essential for connecting with our email is done. Now we are going to connect with our Outlook folder. So for that few references required. What are the references we are going to enable it now? So to connect our Outlook along with our local system library, so we need some library which is called scripting runtime library, Microsoft scripting runtime. So this is an essential one for creating the directory or connecting with the directory in our local system. Declare the variable whichever is essential for connecting with our library also. So file system object, which is our file system object as scripting.file system object. Then now we need to, after connecting with our file system object, we need to go with a folder. I'm just mentioning it as directory direct as scripting folder, right? Because we need to connect with the folder also, right? So that's what we are doing. And now we have connected with the folder also, but we need a string where we have to give the name of the directory. So again, I'm declaring a variable directory name as string, which will helps to save me that particular directory name. At last, we are going to save attachment in the variable attach as outlook.attachment. We have done with the declaration of all the variables. The essential part is we have to set the FSO library because that will help us to interact with our directory file. So new scripting file system object done with our declaration of variables and setting all the other variables. Now we are jumping into adding the values to our variables. Let's start with step by step. First, we need to declare the folder. Give the command to understand what is the code all about and how it will work. This will helps me to connect the folder. So provide folder details of. Now I'm giving a variable called a, which is equal to. I'm giving this workbook because from this workbook only I'm going to take the values sheets of which sheets we are interacting. We are interacting with sheet 1. Just copy the sheet 1 and close it. Dot. From which range we are taking the value? We are taking the value of B2. B2 is nothing but our folder dot value. The second will be the same. So I'm just copying this line and editing that values alone. B3 dot value. So what B3 is containing is all about my subfolder because from this subfolder only I'm going to get the attachments. Now we are going to connect it with Outlook. I'm going to set OL, which is our Outlook.application is equal to new Outlook application is done. Now I'm setting our NS because our namespace NS is equal to get namespace of from Outlook dot get namespace of MAPI. This is our directory which is predefined for Outlook. Now we need to connect with sample folder, subfolder, right? What we are going to do is setting the folder because we have given the folder object is equal to ns dot get default folder. You can see the option of the second one, get default folder, which is our second folder. We can see the folders over here, calendar, configs, contacts, date items, but we are going to give it in an inbox. And in inbox dot which folders we are going to take is like folders of B is nothing but our sample folder. Now we are going to see where we need to save the file. So in variable C I'm taking in which I'm going to give the same path this workbook dot sheets of sheet 1 dot range of b6 dot value. So this is my directory name where all the attachments from the Outlook is going to save. We are going into our mail item to get the attachments to be added. For that what I'm going to do is I'm going to use for loop for each I is our object in which area, which is our folder dot items. OL is nothing but our sample folder in which what I'm going to give a condition is if I dot class is equal to OL mail, which is nothing but our this Outlook mail, then set my attachment is equal to I. What we are doing is we are taking it as MI item is I because I is the one which we have given the object variable. It will store the value of mail item. So that should be equal to our MI because MI is the one which we have given as an Outlook item over here. Our MI is equal to I is done. Now what we are going to do is we are going to check my attachment is there or not. For that, what I'm going to do is if I'm adding another condition that mail item dot attachments dot count is greater than 0, then is greater than 0. What we have to do is we have to create a directory where I'm going to create DIRN. RN is our name of the directory, which is equal to my folder value, which is C. And what I'm going to do is I'm just giving a backslash test. So I'm creating a subfolder in that particular attachments file as test. Now, what I'm going to do is, so this is our test folder which you are getting. Now, I'm just checking if my test folder, which is our FSO dot folder exists, which is my directory name, my dir, the one which we have given is already exists. Then set my direct is equal to FSO dot get folder dirn. If not, if it is not exist, then what we have to do is we have to create. Else set my direct. I'm just copying this piece of code and close it with and we have created the directory successfully. Now what we are going to do is I'm going to save the attachments in our directory path for each attachment. It is our attachments in mi dot attachments for each attachments in my mail. Then save the attachment, save as file where I want to save the file. I have to save the file in dir. My path will be nothing but I'm going to save the file in same way, and I'm going to give a backslash to segregate the file path, and I'm going to give the file name. So ideally this is nothing but our the file path and my file name, and last will be my next attachment. It should go to next attachments, and then I'm going to close the loop. Then I'll go with next I. At last we are giving the message box to the users. My attachment is saved successfully. I'm going to give it as an VB information. So our coding is completely done for our saving the attachments from email. Let's check it one by one. So you can see there is an error occurring in the path not found error. The reason why, because we have asked the macro to create, get the folder, but here if it is not there we have to create a folder, right? So it should be create folder. Now you can see that particular folder is created. Also you can see this is created. Again go by F8 and it's checking each attachments, and it says my attachment saved successfully. Go to folder and validate our attachment of review.jpg. So we have only one email attached over here. That particular attachment is saved with the particular folder which we have given. Suppose what I'm going to do is I'm just deleting this image, and even if I run the program again, right? If I run the program again, it says automation successfully saved. Yes, it is already created. There is a folder and we have the attachment saved. That's the reason we have given the check mark saying that if my attachment is already there or if my folder is already there, don't create a new folder, go with the existing folder. Hope you have understood this video clearly. If you have any query in this video, please reach out to us. We will help you as soon as possible. And also the exciting news which we want to share is we are planning to conduct a webinar of 3 hours in the month of August. That webinar registration link is already shared in the description box. Also, you can go ahead and you can register yourself for your webinar, and the dates will be announced soon. And each and every participants of the webinar will get the e-certificate of participating in our webinar. We'll meet you in the next video. Until then, bye from Google Tech. Thank you. Have a great day.